Hey friends, it's Java Doodles or Crow, whichever one you decide to use, and welcome back to my channel. It's been forever, I know. I think the last time I uploaded was like 3 months ago. Yeah, doesn't matter. I have like 40 subscribers, but we ball. It has been a while. I have quite a few updates for you guys, including a new setup. I know in every other video I've had, I filmed in like a different location because I was still trying to figure out like where I like to film. But now that I kind of have like a cute little setup going on with like my camera and then like my laptop and then my monitor, I'm like, okay, this is working. And then I have a mic now. I finally have a microphone to talk into, like all nice and sensual. Do you guys like that? But yeah, I have a cute little mic now. Very fun, very cutesy of me. Also because I was tired of filming on my iPad and just talking really loud to my iPad, hoping that the audio sounded good. And the audio sounded fine. Like, I didn't have a problem with it. It was just that, like, I kind of wanted something more formal and something that wasn't just, like, me obnoxiously talking to my iPad, filming in, like, all of, like, 720p. So, yeah. I mean, it's probably 1080p, but I kind of wanted to film in a nicer quality with a... I hope that pickup on that wasn't bad. On a nice quality microphone. I'm trying not to speak too close to the mic because you guys. And I could put this on there, like, and do that, but I haven't tested what this sounds like. So if that sounds good, I'll keep it. If not, But yeah, besides the new setup, I also have quite a few like updates regarding my life. I feel like every time I come back to YouTube or come to make a YouTube video, it's always like some crazy stuff going on with me. And I'm honestly, my few subscribers that I have, I'm sure you're tired of it, but honestly, keeps it interesting, keeps it fun, keeps it cool. So yeah. So for today's video, I'm doing the final installment of the Seasonal Ladies Winter. It's been forever since I've updated on the Seasonal Ladies. My last video was the third installment, I believe. I believe it was spring, if I'm not mistaken. And I really liked how spring turned out, and I definitely didn't forget about it. Like, like the footage for winter has been filmed for like forever. Like, I've had the footage just on my laptop. I just never got around to filming myself, like talking about what I wanted to talk about. I also had a bit of like a creativity block, and I was like, dang, what do I even talk about? And then, like, I had some revelations in my life, and I was like, oh my gosh, I know I can make content out of this. So, yeah, we can start the speed paint now. Last installment of Seasonal Ladies print series, Winter. I hope you guys really like this, because honestly, I really liked how it turned out. I was super proud of it when I finished it, and I don't know, like, I just kind of like the vibes, and the background, like, the background kind of aspects of it was a little bit challenging for me, because, like, I never drew snow before, which you guys will see like later down like the line of the speed paint when you see the finished product. But honestly, like, it was much better than spring when I had to paint all of those rocks. Like, doing all those rocks was crazy. Like, it actually drove me insane. But today's video topic is, as the title hints, alludes. I haven't thought of a title yet. Yeah. As the title alludes, we're talking about how I changed my major. And not just like the fact that I changed my major, because obviously, like, throughout college is an exploratory time for people, especially for those who are between the ages of 17 and 24, because, you know, that's the general age range. It's not about the fact that I changed my major, it's what I went through changing my major, and, like, the fact that I had, like, a whole crisis for my life, like, planned. When I came to university, I, like many students, came with a plan. I knew what I wanted to do down to my classes. Like, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna take this class, I'm gonna take that class, and after this, I'm gonna go to med school, and I'm gonna become a psychiatrist, and I had this whole plan of down to the internships I was gonna do for the summer, the research projects I wanted to participate in. Like, I had this mess planned out. Like, I knew exactly what I was gonna do, and I was, like, hella prepared. I was set on being a psychiatrist because, a lot of my work in university centers around diversity education, and I care very deeply about like resource accessibility, healthcare accessibility, as well as like inclusivity in medical practices. That's something I've always been very passionate about, and I was planning to do my research in that and maybe even write my dissertation on that for when I was getting my MD. But that kind of changed, honestly. I had a dream internship. I was hoping that internship would send me to med school for free. Like, there was a whole plan when I tell you guys this. And sure, I had a few other options, some other like medial steps to ensure the success of my plan. But also, people often say that the plan you come into college with is usually the plan you stick with. And I thought it was an exception. I was like, no, y'all don't like me. I'm prepared. I'm ready. I know exactly what I'm doing with my life. Like, y'all don't do it like me. Y'all don't do it like me. Turns out I'm no different than every other student. I mean, we're all unique in our plans and how we address like education and approach our lives and careers. However, I was so sure that I was an exception until I got to my second year of college. I'm currently in my second year still. I literally changed my major like, 3 weeks ago at the time of filming this? But yeah, I am not an exception. So midterms just passed for me. And I was struggling like I never struggled before. In high school, I was the exemplary student. Like, not to toot my own horn and stroke myself off, but I graduated salutatorian at my high school, and like I was heavily involved. Like I went to a Harvard Academy, like I did several boot camps at different universities and programs, and I was heavily involved in community service. Like I was like the student, you know? Like, you ever seen my graduation photos? You should know, it's pretty impressive. And coming into college, I thought that I knew I would face some struggles, but I didn't think I'd face the same academic struggles, because even though I was that kind of student, I also had to consider the kind of background I was from, because I came from a Title I school, from like a historically red line district, and it was also predominantly like Black and Hispanic students, and that's the kind of kids I'm like used to hanging around, you know? And coming to the university I'm at, which is a PWI, a very like prestigious PWI, I might say, I wasn't prepared for like the cultural shock that I experienced coming here, which I may have mentioned in previous videos, but like the social culture here is so different. And even recently I had a culture shock where I had some like really racist encounters, and people here, like, it's really bad. It's not bad, but like there are some communities of people here who are pretty bigoted. But I thought I could get through it, and I didn't realize how the social culture may affect my academics, because not only going back to when I said I go to a Title I school, I didn't have AP classes at my school. Like I was dually enrolled, but that's because I was offered the opportunity to do so. But I went to a trade-focused school. So before coming to college for chemistry, for pre-med chemistry, I was a business student. Like I got a certificate in business administration. I did 4 years of accounting, finances, all that stuff. Like I did 4 years of business education. And because my high school was trade-focused, that was like the whole thing. Like they wanted kids to get their GEDs or whatever, like trade certificates. So when students were sent to university, they weren't very prepared. And talking to some alumni at my university, talking to some alumni from my high school, I realized that my university did not prepare us for like the transition from high school to college. Like knowing that I went to a trade school and realizing that and making that connection, I was like, I was not prepared for that, because community college, I mean, you can assume this, but like actually experiencing it is like the different thing. It's like going from community college to like university, like a prestigious university, is like crazy transition. And I feel like that's like something that's often undermined. And I'm just like, wow, this is something. This is definitely something that I'm doing. So going after midterms really changed everything for me for my second year, because I was still set on doing chemistry, and I'm so passionate about chemistry. Like I adore chemistry. I adore understanding like etc. I was very interested in this because I wanted to apply it to medicine and like medicinal research, because I was like, wow, this is really interesting, and I really want to like help in the development of medicine for people for like neurodivergent people, mentally ill people, like all that stuff. I'm probably boring you with all the technical stuff of my aspirations, but that's what I wanted to do. But I was in organic chemistry some weeks ago for this year. I was planning to take organic chemistry, and I was in it. And I realized that like chemistry started to consume my life. Like, and in college, you live and breathe education when you're in college. And I understand that. However, I realized that chemistry was outside of my capacity. And I had to come to terms with the fact that this doesn't have anything to do with my intelligence, with how smart I am, with how talented I am. This has nothing to do with my intelligence, but I realized that everyone has different capacities for stress as well as workloads. And I realized that majoring in chemistry with my double minor, I was like, wow, I'm really outside of my capacity right now. And chemistry became less of a passion and more of a chore. And I realized that like I was starting to lose my love for it, to the point where I was like starting to get really like unmotivated. And I was getting like so depressed, and I was putting so much like pressure on myself. like, here's some context. A lot of first generation students have a shared feeling of pressure, that they're overcoming some giant hurdle and that is some giant act of resistance against like society, and that like, wow, you're really overcoming the barriers of like your life, and you know, you're the first in your family to do this, you know, or this part of your family to do this, that, and the other. And it's like, it places a lot of pressure on first gen students, especially first gen students of color who come from immigrant families. Like, my family's from the Philippines, and it's just like, my family wanted the best for me, but at the same time, I feel like them having these big goals for me and admiring me in the way they did, I also was like subconsciously putting a lot of pressure on myself that like, well, I have to become a doctor, like I have to become rich and famous and do all this stuff. Like, I have to do everything perfectly, because if I don't, I'm gonna be a failure. And that's what I thought of myself. And I realized that I was putting all this unnecessary pressure on myself and letting like parts of my identity define my intelligence, define my capacity, or what my capacity should be. And then I realized that isn't who I am. Like, I'm my own independent person. Like, I'm a grown woman. I should be able to decide these things for myself. And I love my family and how much they support me. Like, I wouldn't ask for it to be any other way. But I realized that I was putting so much pressure on myself for being a first gen student, especially being a first gen student of color at a PWI of people of like rich white families. And again, I don't have anything against white people. I am simply critiquing the white heteronormative standards of the American society. But it's just like, I was putting so much pressure on myself and realized that like, this isn't making me happy. I don't want to go to med school. And I was only doing chemistry because it fulfilled my requirements to go to med school. And of course, I'm still passionate about chemistry. Like, I could recite chemistry, general chemistry 1, 2, and organic chemistry, as well as some other stuff to you. And I still apply this knowledge to beauty because I'm very passionate about cosmetology. And I always read the ingredients list of everything that I'm eating, consuming, putting on my skin, because I just want to know like what kind of stuff is in it. Like what is in it? What kind of acids are in this? Are they fatty acids? Are there any like humectants in here? Are there any like anything that would have like a long like hydrocarbon chain for like good like dirt removal, like a sulfate? Anyways, yeah, I realized that none of this was like making sense to me. I was like, I'm only doing chemistry because I want to go to med school, but med school takes like 7 years, and by the time I become a psychiatrist, I'm gonna be like 40. I'm like, this body ain't popping no more. None of this is popping no more. Like, no. And shout out to all the MDs. Like, y'all are goats. Like, I have a deep love for medicine and healthcare, and I still plan to do healthcare, which I will get to soon. But it's just like, that takes a different kind of strength, and props to you, especially, oh my gosh, I had a high school classmate. She's graduated now, and she's a rising MD. She's really cool. And it's just like, every time I see her, or like this other girl that was also in the same year as her, you know, she's becoming a nurse, and it's just like, they're really persevering through all these challenges to like do all these healthcare jobs. And honestly, that takes like a different kind of strength. And I admire their capacities for that. But I also had to realize that I can't compare myself to the people that I admire, because I'm my own person. I'm never going to be like them, and they're never going to be like me. Like, you're never going to be like your role model. You can do things similar to them, but you're not your role model. You're your own person. And I had to remember that about myself, that I'm my own person. I am me. There was this unspoken archetype for first-gen students. We're starting new family trends. We're going to push the boundaries, succeed in unprecedented ways. However, if I don't stick to this in my lucrative plan, then I'd like fall from grace. And that's the idea I had. And I realized like, there's no fall from grace. Like, we're all work in progresses. Like, we all do our own thing. Success is not linear. Progress is not linear. And I had to come to terms with that. I started failing my calculus class, and I was doing really poorly in organic chemistry. And I was so focused on organic chemistry that I was slacking in behavioral neuroscience, slacking in calculus, slacking in cell biology. And I realized like, this is starting to consume like my education, and it's starting to actually affect my education. And I realized I had to cut my losses, and I had to think about what I wanted as like a person, what I wanted in life. Like, I want love and marriage. I want power. I want success. I want money. Not like power, like I want to take over the world, but I want influence. And I know the kind of person I am. And I had to think about it, that if I become a psychiatrist, I might be stuck in an office. And when I worked an office job as an accountant, I hated that. I hated it. It was the worst. And I had to come to terms about what I wanted, like career-wise, and what I wanted for myself in my future. And I was like, wow, I still want to work healthcare, but I don't think I want to work in like the medicinal side of healthcare, because as much as I admire and love the discipline, it just wasn't me. And I was like, okay, I'm like, so I had to sit down and think, and I looked through some majors in my school's directory, and I was like, what do I want to do? I was like, I still want to do healthcare, I still want to do biological sciences, but I don't think I could do chemistry. Like, I still adore chemistry, and I still want my credits to count, because I'm not going to switch my major into something where my credits don't count. Now I'm a year behind. So I had to like sit down and think. I was like, what do I want? And then I started to think about public health, because it's just the market. I had to consider that. I think all this stemmed from the fact that there's this unspoken archetype that like first gen students, especially like students of color, have to pursue like healthcare and do all these great things. And I realized that like healthcare is like super interdisciplinary, and there's like so many other things that I could be doing. And I was like, what do I want to do? Like, what do I want to do for myself? And I really had to think about like my needs and my wants as a person. So yeah, I thought about my needs and my wants as a person, and I was like, you know what? I gotta put me first. I gotta put me first. So yeah, put myself first, and I put my interests first, and my wants and my needs and my dreams first. And I put my dreams first, not for the dreams that I want for like my family, but for the dreams that I want for myself. So yeah, I had to think, what am I good at doing? What do I know I want to do? And what kind of discipline do I think will be lucrative for me? Because like, yes, college is like exploratory time, but it's also a time to build your career and understand like what's most lucrative for your life, or what's gonna make you most happy while also helping you survive in this world. And yeah, and I think this all like really comes back to the fact that as a peer educator, I teach my students, I'm also a peer educator, I teach my students that college is an exploratory time, and it's okay to change your major, it's okay to do this, and it's okay to take all these other classes. But I really wasn't taking that for myself, because I was so dead set on this plan. And then I was like, wait, college is an exploratory time. Like, if I don't want to do this, I could just change my major. And then I was like, oh, duh. And so, yeah, that happened. And I think part of me like was grieving myself and grieving my dreams and the version of myself that could have been a doctor, that could have been like a medicinal doctor, a doctor in medicine. However, I realized that I could still be a doctor, just a doctor in philosophy. I could get like a PhD or something. And I realized that like I still had a passion for teaching. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to build my life up to where I have multiple avenues that I could travel, and that I'll just take myself where the wind takes me. Of course, I have direction. I move with purpose always. However, I realized that like life really is about opportunity, and it's about like living it for myself, because everyone's allowed to pursue their own happiness, and that I'm a whole person, you know, with or without an MD, and that like my degree really doesn't define me. It's just like what I do with my degree and what I do with myself. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed my little ramblings, and I hope this maybe inspired some of you to really think about what you want and not what would be best for your family. Because of course what you want should like benefit like any part of your life that's important, whether it's your family, your future family, or like yourself. But honestly, life is about what you make of it, and you should maximize on the opportunities and on your own strengths, not the strengths that you think you should have. It's not about what you think you should have, it's about what you have now, what you could build out of it. Anyways, I'm looking forward to the next video I might be making. I plan to make a video soon. I plan to make some more videos. My next video I'm hoping to make, I'm also saying this so I don't forget, I'm hoping to make it about like learning to let go and the grieving process, and that grief isn't just about like grieving somebody, it could be grieving yourself. And you know, and I might talk about how like I felt like I was grieving a part of myself when I let go of chemistry, but it's also like it's okay to grieve, but you can't wallow, you know? Thank you so much for watching this video. Again, my Etsy shop is up. If you guys don't check that out, you unsubscribe. Literally just unsubscribe because you hate me. You must hate me, and you must not even like my videos. My Etsy shop is up. You can go on etsy.com/javadoodles, and I have my entire collection up there, as well as some original works that I'm really happy to share with you guys. Again, I do same day shipping on those things, and you guys get maybe a cute little customized note. Anyways, I love the packaging process. It's like my favorite thing. I love shipping out orders. And again, I do have a website, www.javadoodles.com. That is always up, always linked in my YouTube, always linked in all my social medias. Everything is just in the description. Everything's in the description. Check it all out. My Discord's down there. I still want to do another video on how to improve your art, and you guys aren't making submissions. Fake fans. Don't be afraid to check out my YouTube channel. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Do all that cool stuff that you would do for any other YouTuber. Hope you guys have a wonderful week. I will see you guys soon. Bye.